It's August 1945. After 6 years of brutal fighting, World War II is finally over. Millions of lives were lost, but now it's time to rebuild. People around the world are cautiously optimistic about the future. They want to put the horrors of the past behind them and focus on the road ahead. But here's the thing, the fight against tyranny isn't over yet, because before they can start rebuilding, they have to take care of one last thing: destroying the weapons and secret codes of their defeated enemy. But what if they had missed something? What if there was a secret weapon that could change everything? Well, that's exactly what happened. And it all started when a British soldier named Colin Clark stumbled across a secret lab in the German city of Elegant. Inside, he found weird-looking boxes and machines and papers covered in strange symbols. It looked like a madman's playground, but to the British military, it didn't look like a toy at all. It looked like the key to cracking the toughest nut of the war, breaking the Nazis' secret communication code. Because up until now, the British had no idea how the Nazis communicate with each other. All they knew was that the Germans were using machines called Enigma to send encrypted messages. That changed every day. To the Germans, Enigma was a miracle, an unbreakable encryption technology that kept their strategies and plans away from prying eyes. In fact, the Enigma machine was so advanced that even its creators couldn't read the messages it produced. So how did Colin Clark and the British manage to crack the unbreakable code? Well, let me introduce you to the man who made it happen, Alan Turing. Yeah, that guy. In fact, he was a mathematician who was considered the father of theoretical computer science and artificial intelligence. But at the time, he was just another guy trying to do his part for the greater good. You see, when World War II broke out, Alan turned down a cushy government job and joined the race to break the German Enigma code. And to do that, he needed a machine that could test every possible combination and permutation. That's because the Enigma machine worked by moving parts around and forming different letters and symbols. So to decode a message, you had to enter a setting that would match the coded message with the correct letter. And the problem was there were billions of possible settings, and the Enigma machine produced a new one every day. This meant that the code breakers had two major obstacles to overcome. First, they had to figure out the settings for that day, and second, they had to decipher the message once they got it. And the stakes were high because the German Enigma code held valuable information about their military operations. If the British could break it, they would be able to track the Germans' movements and anticipate their next move. But if they failed, well, that could spell disaster. The pressure was on and time was running out. So Alan went to work. With the help of his team, he studied the mechanics of the Enigma machine and tried to find a way to beat it. Now, don't get me wrong, these guys weren't wizards. They weren't pulling rabbits out of hats. They were just brilliant mathematicians and engineers who were willing to think outside the box. In fact, it took them months to come up with a solution. And when they finally did, it was so ingenious that it changed the course of history. You see, Alan realized that if he wanted to crack the Enigma code, he needed a machine that could think like a human brain. At the time, that was unheard of because computers were just a pipe dream. Most people thought that they were impossible. But Alan wasn't most people. He had a crazy idea that computers could be a reality, and he was determined to prove them right. So he set out to build the bomb machine, a device that would simulate the workings of the human brain and crack the Enigma code. Now, the bomb wasn't your typical computer. It didn't have transistors or microchips. It was made of gears and rotors and cables. But by today's standards, it was a marvel of engineering. In fact, it was so advanced that it laid the foundation for modern computers. But that's a story for another time. For now, let's focus on what really mattered. Could the bomb machine actually crack the Enigma code? Well, let's just say it was a nail-biter. You see, the bomb machine was a massive success. It could test thousands of possibilities in seconds, which was enough to give the code breakers a slight advantage. But it wasn't easy. In fact, it was so difficult that many people doubted it could be done. But Alan and his team persevered and they eventually cracked the code. Now, You might be wondering why I'm telling you this story. After all, you probably learned about cracking the Enigma code back in school. But here's the thing, most people don't know the whole story. They don't know about the struggles and sacrifices that went into this monumental achievement. In fact, the story of breaking the Enigma code is one of the most important events of the 20th century. It not only helped to win the war, but also paved the way for the digital age. In fact, historians estimate that breaking the Enigma code saved millions of lives and shortened the war by 2 years. But it wasn't just the impact that made the story so fascinating. It was also the people involved. Brilliant minds who dared to dream of a machine that could think like a human brain. People like Alan Turing, who was a true visionary. I mean, think about it. Before the bomb machine, the Enigma code was unbreakable. But then came along a guy with a funny-looking mustache and a bunch of gears and rotors and cables, and boom, the impossible became possible. Of course, that's a huge exaggeration. It took him and his team months to build the machine and test it and make it work. But you get the point. Alan Turing was a genius, and we should celebrate that. Unfortunately, though, he didn't get the recognition he deserved when he was alive. In fact, he was prosecuted for homosexuality, a crime that was illegal at the time, and ultimately took his own life. But thankfully, his legacy lives on. Today, there are schools and scholarships and museums named after him, and his work is celebrated around the world. But I believe that we should do more. We should tell his story and the story of others like him. Stories of people who dared to dream of a world that was different than the one they were born into. Who dared to believe that anything was possible if you set your mind to it. Stories of people like Alan Turing who changed the world forever. But I'm not the only one telling these stories. There's a platform that does the same thing. They share stories of history's hidden heroes. People who made a difference, but whose names aren't in the history books. Their videos are informative and entertaining and perfect for anyone who loves learning about the past. So if you love watching this, go check them out. And don't forget to subscribe, because I have more stories to share with you. Stories of people who dared to dream of a world that was different than the one they were born into. Who dared to believe that anything was possible if you set your mind to it. Stories of people like Alan Turing who changed the world forever. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and subscribe for more historical tales. And if you want to learn more about the amazing stories of history's hidden heroes, be sure to visit the website. Thanks for watching.